Hello, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Ettinger, and I've been asked to come on this morning and just talk to you guys a little bit about mindset and how to go from a follower mindset to a leadership mindset. So I'm just going to wait a couple minutes. I'm 2 minutes early, so I'm just going to wait a couple minutes while people log on. And if you wanted to take notes, you can have a couple of seconds to go grab your notebook and a pen if you feel like you want to take notes about this topic. Okay. Hey guys, so I'm going to swipe the comments to the side for now, and then when I'm done talking, I'm going to bring them back over and I can go through and answer questions. Just because if I am looking at questions while I'm speaking, I get really distracted and I totally forget what I'm talking about. So I am just going to swipe them to the side for now. So I'm going to start with introducing myself. My name is Jacqueline Ettinger. I've been a coach with Beachbody for about 2.5 years. I have been doing the programs for 3 this month, actually. So this month, about 3 years ago, I was signing myself up for the 21-day fix with DVDs and Shakeology, and I was scared, and I didn't believe in myself that I could do it, and I was definitely that client that we all have that was like the runaround and had to be chased to finish her challenge pack, and didn't have money to do her challenge pack, and that was me. So I've been doing this in this lifestyle for about 3 years now, coaching for about 2.5. So what I'm going to start with is just telling you a little bit about myself and my story and how I kind of came into coaching. So I am from a really small town in northern British Columbia, and I grew up an only child, and I had a great childhood. I mean, my mom and dad were amazing. They still are. And, you know, they did everything to give me what I needed. But I always had self-confidence issues. And, you know, I was always that like follower. I was never a leader. I was always someone that followed everybody, followed my friends. You know, I was the kind of the victim of like falling into peer pressure because I just wanted to fit in. I cared too much about what people thought. Like that was me growing up. And so when I was at a really young age of 15, I got involved in a relationship, which I believed was true love. It was forever. It was everlasting. I never really had a boyfriend before, so I was kind of hooked, right? I was never really someone that was willing to put themselves out there for relationships and stuff. So at 15, I was in this relationship and I thought it was great, but I knew in my heart that it wasn't that great because you know, you just kind of know, right? So I still stayed in the relationship for a long time. He was my high school sweetheart. He was, my mom and dad did not like him. So that should have been a red flag right away. But I stayed in the relationship and I got pregnant when I was 20. So at a very young age, I had my first child. And when I had my first child, my life kind of went like, spiraled out of control a little bit. Not because of me, but because of my spouse, my child's father. So he started to experiment with drugs. And he got to the point where he had major confidence issues. And so the drugs were making him feel better. So in turn for him feeling better, he was doing them more and more and more. And he was turning into an addict very fast. And I have the utmost respect for people who have addictions because I know it's an actual disease. I just want to clear that up. I've been through a lot of it. So I just want to make sure everyone understands where I'm coming from on that. So you know, like dealing with in a relationship with an addict is extremely exhausting, and you kind of like lose yourself within it. You lose who you are. You're so wrapped up in trying to fix someone else that you totally like lose everything about yourself. And I was so young when it happened that I never really had that opportunity to figure out who I was. So I was just automatically put into this situation where I was like a new mom. I had no idea who I was. I was just trying to raise my child and be healthy and happy in the best way I knew how to without dealing with dealing with all the stress and everything that I was dealing with being in a relationship with an addict. And then about 2 years later, I got pregnant with our son. And so the addiction just continued to spiral out of control and get really, really bad. And he started to turn from, different drugs and drugs that were more addictive, and our relationship just went downhill, and I was very stuck for a very long time. And it was because of the fact that he would tell me he was scared that I would leave, right? He was not well. So he would tell me, it changed him hugely. Like the drugs and the addiction changed who he was as a person, like immensely. So he was, he was abusive. He was emotionally abusive. He would tell me that I couldn't do anything without him. I would never be able to succeed on my own. I could never be a single mom. I could never, support myself or my kids. And so I believed that because that's what I was told for so many years. Like I was told deep down, and I believed it with my heart that I couldn't do this without him. So I made every single excuse in the world to why I couldn't leave that relationship. My plants will die. Who will take care of my animals? Who will clean my house? Every single excuse I had to tell myself why I shouldn't leave, I would tell myself that for a really long time. But the addiction got so bad. Something came to me one day and I was like, I can't do this. This is, I was a mom. I had a 3-week-old baby. And I was like, when I was in the hospital with our son, he wasn't there. He was getting high somewhere. So that was the turning point for me when I realized that I was on my own. No matter if I stayed or if I left, I was on my own no matter what. So when my son was 3 weeks old and I had a very tragic birth with him, I was in the hospital for a while, and so once I was healed enough, I packed up my stuff and I left, and I went and I got an apartment at BC Housing Complex, which is something for single moms on social assistance or welfare. And I kind of tried to restart my life as much as I possibly could. And I didn't take anything from the house. I didn't take a single thing because I was worried that I was going to throw him through more of a loop. And I didn't want him to be put into more of a situation where he was going to maybe become more in a more unstable situation. So I just took pretty much the clothes for myself and the stuff for my kids. And I went to this apartment, and my family and friends brought me their used items and their used couches. And I think I had a couch from the dump that my auntie was taking to the dump that she dropped off on my house on the way by. So it was like that for a long time. And I was pretty much just doing everything I could to survive. I could not afford to feed my kids. My mom and dad were helping me as much as they possibly could, but they didn't have a huge income to support me and 2 kids on. And but they were helping me in every way that they could. And I was on social assistance. So about 6 months after that, I'm going to try and wrap my story up fast. About 6 months after that, I was so depressed in that place. It was not for me. I am not a town person. I am very much a country girl, likes to live out of town, likes her privacy. So I rented a house that was a little bit more private in town that I could not afford. It was way over my budget. It was what I made in a month for just the rent. But I went and I told this lady I would be able to afford it, and I rented it anyways because I needed an out, and I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I just knew I needed to do it. So I lied and said that I could pay for this house, and I paid for, and I rented this house, and I had this plan to start a daycare. So after struggling for quite a few months of paying rent and building up my clientele for running my own daycare, it actually worked out really well. And I ran a successful daycare for quite a few years. And I was at the point where I was feeling an entrepreneur. I was on top of the world. I was crushing all those doubts that were nailed into my head that I could never be successful. I could never do it on my own. And I was a single successful entrepreneur mom. I had a business. I was taking care of my kids. I didn't have child support. I didn't need child support. And that's what I wanted. So life was good. And then I met, so I was back and forth with him still, throughout. We would always have our, how it is when you end a relationship you're in for a long time. It's hard to cut completely, right? So about in 2011, I met my husband, who I have now, and he came in, and we weren't together very long when I got pregnant with our daughter, who is now 6. And so when I was about 6 months pregnant, everything was great. I was running an amazing business. I was in a really happy relationship, and I was pregnant, and we were growing our family. And all of a sudden I got a phone call. And I got a phone call saying that they didn't know where my oldest children's father was. He was missing. Had been missing for about 2 weeks. And so I was like, oh my gosh, he's on a bender. Where is he? What's going on? What's going to happen to him? Where is he? So I went with the family, who I was really close to at the time still, to look for him. And I just had a feeling in my gut that something was wrong. I knew instantly when we drove to the town where he was claimed missing that there was something majorly wrong going on. So we went looking, and it wasn't long after that when I got a phone call saying that there had been something found. And obviously didn't have any idea what I was about to be told, but I knew in my heart that it was not good news for me or my family. So we got a phone call, and it turned out that they found a piece of him in an abandoned house shoved in a wall. So he had been murdered in a way that is undescribable, and I'm not going to get into details. But we never truly found the rest of him or the true exact story for a very long time. We were always searching for him to put him to rest, and for like the reasons why someone would do that. He was murdered at a party. In a way that you cannot even imagine, and I'm not going to describe. But that moment obviously threw me to a place in my life where I was back lower than I'd ever been before. I had grief, I had guilt. I thought maybe I could have helped him more. Maybe I never should have left. What are my kids going to think? What do I do? How do I tell them the truth? How do they know what happened to their father? You can't just explain something like that to kids, like that happened to their dad. And to be honest, they still actually don't know the truth about all of it. They don't know the details, and I'm not ready to tell them that at all. Not until they're adults, not until they know. I am very honest with them about things, but that's just a different story, right? So I was knocked into a place where like I had no belief in my life or myself, and I had no idea who I was. And I was doing what I could to survive. And I got to a place in my life where I was extremely depressed and sick and PTSD and anxiety and everything that I had. I was just doing what I could to tread my head above water and stay strong. And so I think it was about a couple years after, I was still just doing everything I could I was sick and unwell for a very long time after that happened. I was grieving. I was going to court. I was going to the murder trials for years. They continued for 5 years after he was murdered. The murder trials did. It wasn't until just last September where I said I'd have enough and I can't go to any court anymore. So I went to those for years. And then I seen Jamie, my coaches, my mentors, face kept popping up on Facebook, and all my friends were liking his posts, and all my friends were saying they lost weight and blah, blah, blah. They feel so good. And I was like, who is this guy? And like, why is he helping people? Maybe I should reach out. Maybe I need something. Like, I need to change my life, right? So I did. And then that goes back to the story where he was chasing me around, getting me to finish my challenge pack. And I wasn't really necessarily doing it because I was scared, and I still had a very bad victim mindset, like I'm going to fail, I'll never succeed, blah, blah, blah. But I did. I did it. And I had an amazing results. And all of a sudden, the products, the community, everything changed for me. It just changed. I felt amazing. I felt confident. I felt like I could understand like my own mindset and like how to kind of cure my mindset and how to, work on myself and like work on developing myself into a stronger human being and not be that victim anymore. And I'm not saying it happened overnight. Like I still work on that every single day, about developing that mindset. And I think that, when we go through such traumatic experiences in our life, we can still think that we're healed, but we're not necessarily there yet. We're not necessarily healed from those traumatic experiences. I know for myself, a lot of the things that happened, I locked away like in a little dark place with a key, and I never really looked at them again. And it wasn't until we had a leadership retreat this summer, which really opened up a lot of things for me. And that's kind of where the whole follower to leadership mindset comes in. So we had this this thing we did, where we wrote everything down on a board that ever held us back, and then we smashed it. And it was the most emotional thing I've ever done in my life. I don't know why it was so powerful for me, but it was something that just was meant to happen in my life or something. I'm not really sure. But that little exercise we did changed things for me, because I was actually thinking of things that were in the back of my mind that were holding me back that I didn't realize were holding me back. Like things that I had never even thought about for like 5 years were coming up and they were getting on my board. So when I was actually able to like visualize them and see them and be like, wow, I never even realized that was holding me back for so long, and then like get rid of it, that helped me so big. So when I came home from that leadership retreat, I realized that I am capable of being a leader, because that wasn't even that long ago. But for the last 2 years, I've been in the mindset of like, I've always hit Success Club. I've always, built rank. I've always done these things, but I've always doubted myself be able to lead other people. And I think it comes from, really like just things that I've been through, things that have been said to me, things that are like limited beliefs within yourself, or just like comparing yourself to others that are successful and wondering like, can you do that too? So when I came back, I realized that I needed to be more clear with my team and my coaches about what I needed to do, because this was something that was extremely important to me. And I take this business extremely seriously. So like, it's my income. It's what I do every morning from 8:30 till 12 every day. I sit in my little office and I do my work towards my business. It's important to me. And I didn't think that they were really seeing that. I didn't really think that they were seeing my bigger vision. I wasn't being clear. And after listening to Micah's call yesterday about people being scared to push their coaches, it really registered with me, because that's exactly what I was. I was scared to tell them what I wanted in fear of them thinking that I was being selfish. And so everything that I said didn't come off confident. Every way that I was leading them wasn't like a confident way of leading them. It was a direction of like, you could do this, but you could do this too. It was never like, no, you need to do this, 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 and this, and this. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is how my business grown. And then like, if they were uncomfortable, inviting people to the coaching opportunity, I would say things like, oh yeah, I understand. I wasn't like, no, you need to invite people to the coach opportunity. Like, I wasn't being a leader to my own team. And it was like this quote that I heard today, and it made so much sense to me. And I want you guys to write this down. A lion. Sorry, let me I just need to read it, because I don't want to say it wrong. Okay. An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. It's so true. So we can lead people who are, we have to make sure that we're leading our new coaches in a way that they believe that they can do it too. So like, they're going to follow you. They're going to follow your lead. So if you believe in yourself, they're going to believe in their self. If you belief into them, they're going to believe in themselves. And I don't think I was doing that. And ever since I got back and I really were clear with them and told them this is important to me. This is my job. This is a business. You need to take it seriously. This is what you need to do. This is a power hour you need to achieve. This is created a power hour for them and said this is the vital behaviors you need to do at least 5 days a week to move your business forward, or your business won't grow. Just being completely honest with my team and telling them what they needed to do in order to move their business forward has helped so much. And not only has it helped my team, but it's my mindset of just switching from that follower to leadership mindset has been attracting more leaders to me. I've been, having people really excited to grow the business, not people who are victims that are I just need the money. You know what I mean? I think that when sometimes we're not careful when we tell our story, what we're doing is we're attracting a lot of victims who can relate, who aren't ready to move on. And that's what I was doing. I was telling my story, which is obviously a sad story, but I was telling my story, and it was attracting people who necessarily weren't ready to heal. And so it was dragging me down even further. And so me feeling I wanted to push them wasn't working very well, because they weren't ready to be pushed. They weren't ready to grow a business. They just maybe wanted a quick fix or thought that my story could help them somehow, but they weren't actual people who are ready to lead. So we have to be really clear in our message when we're, trying to attract coaches and trying to be leaders in our own lives, because it's so important to, attract the right people. 1 second here. Just need to have a drink. One more thing I found that has really helped, kind of like put me in more feeling like I'm more of a leader than a follower, is not looking at, obviously I get ideas from other people that they're doing, and like I listen to our team, and I do things that everyone else is doing, but I had to put a twist on it. And for me, it was making the decision of being my own leader was when I said to my coach, Jamie, when I said to him, I can't add my coaches into your team page anymore. I need to take this leadership role on myself. I need to take my people, and I need to take control of my people, and I need my people to look at me as their leader and not other people as their leader who they might never talk to. So I think we're all at the point in our businesses where we really need to evaluate, like, how far do you want to push yourself as a leader? Like, what do you want to do? And for me, that was like taking full responsibility of all the coaches I was adding, and taking full responsibility, making my own training that I duplicated from my coach's training. Like, I didn't create new stuff. I just duplicated it into my own system, into my own units. I have a Facebook group, and it's set into social learning units, and they go through it at their own pace, and it works great. It just took a little bit of time to copy and paste, those learning units that I've used to learn when I was a first starting coach, and I put that there, and then it was just me telling my team, like, we're not going to be doing that anymore. So I need your guys' full support on, supporting fellow coaches who are coming onto our team, and, really taking control of leading my own team calls. And if I can't make it on a team call for some reason, because of a sport or something, or my computer has a virus and it dies every 20 minutes when I run Zoom. So last night, instead of doing a Zoom call with my team, I did a live power hour with them, which, you're always putting the effort in, you're always breathing belief, and you're always showing your team how to be leaders without worrying about pushing them or scaring them away. Because if you're worried about pushing them or scaring them away, they're not going to last anyways when things get hard. Because we all know when we get to the point in the business where we're holding rank, or we're building rank, or we're trying to get to 5-star, or we're trying to get elite points, it gets tough. And if people are scared away when they're a new coach and we're just asking them to send out invites and do the daily vital behaviors, they're not going to be able to last that long time anyways. You know what I mean? So you want to be honest and forefront and upfront with them right away, so that they can start to build that mindset of belief in themselves right away, right out of the door. Another thing that I have found has been extremely helpful is really being like, I know Kim always says this, is like being, leadership is like being the servanthood. So always breathing belief into your team, always breathing belief into your clients and your challengers and your challenge group and into your audience. So giving free value, making sure that you're relating to your avatar on your social media. For me, that's moms, right? So back to school snacks and lunches, and providing them with healthy tips, and making them laugh about something silly that happened to me as a mom, or whatever, right? Giving them entertainment and value in a way that that they can really relate to. And does anyone have any questions while I think of more I can talk about? I can see your guys' comments now. I think you relate to the... Aw, thanks, Jamie. So I think that, okay, I'm going to get distracted again. I have to swipe those to the side, but I'll come back again and I'll look if there's questions. I think a big thing about making that follower to leadership mindset is just breathing so much belief into yourself and your team. And I think it needs to start with yourself, because if you don't believe that you can do this, you won't do this. If you don't believe that your team can do it, they won't do it. And if you don't believe that you can grow as a leader, you won't grow as a leader. So I know we talk about personal development and it is so vital, but like the personal development I do 99% of the time is like development on myself, not so much on my business. Like that's like extra bonus personal development about how to grow my Instagram, how to do this, how to do that, write about my business. But like personal development that helps me, so I believe in myself, is like development, like that's like telling me to believe in myself, telling me, and like reaching my like heartstrings, you know, like finding that person that you can listen to every morning when you wake up, because that's when your subconscious mind is like the most vulnerable. When that's when you should be doing personal development, is when you first wake up, the first 20 minutes after you wake up, get out of bed. That's when you should be listening to something that's going to be encouraging you and breathing belief into you, because that's what's going to really help you grow as a person. And like I wake up and I listen to Les Brown like religiously. Like he is like my person, I swear to God. And you will all have different people, and I know everyone knows I like him that knows me, but like he is like, something about him is just like it hits me at my heart, and I can relate to a lot of things he says, and I can relate to a lot of the things he goes through, and he says such amazing facts and quotes, and they just hit me, right? And that is how I like to start my day. I like to start my day with him telling me that I can believe in myself. You know what I mean? And then also a big thing that I've started to do is I've started to incorporate visualization into my morning. So just like taking, like I downloaded like a 6-minute song off iTunes, and it's like a visualization song. I said it quick that time. A visualization song, and I just close my eyes and I just visualize waking up in my new house edition that I want, in my big king size bed in my brand new bedroom, waking up, bringing my kids to school, coming to my office or going to do my workout office, looking at my bank account, talking to my team. Like I visualize everything that I want my future to look like, and it's really helped me. And this has just been in a short amount of time that I've actually changed my mindset like this. Like I was like a follower. I believe I was in a follower mindset for at least the last 2 years of my business. And I was like too afraid to be a leader because I didn't believe I could be a leader. I didn't believe that I could lead a team. I didn't believe that I would ever be someone that would be like on stage one day. You know what I mean? Like I never had that belief in myself because there was always like those self-limiting beliefs that were like holding me back from believing in that. Just going to see if there's any questions. Do you guys have any questions at all? What PD has helped you believe in yourself? So Les Brown, I just said that. I don't know if that's an old question or not, but he helps me huge. And also being grateful. If you guys don't have like a 5-minute gratitude journal, Kim always talks about these. They're amazing. They're really, really great. And also Tony Robbins has been someone that's really inspired me as well. Honestly, what I do is I search things on YouTube that I'm feeling that day. So if like today, like this morning when I woke up, I searched leadership because that's what I was going to talk about. So that's what was going to go throughout my day. So I searched Les Brown, Tony Robbins leadership, and it was like a 30-minute spiel on leadership, and it like inspired me to speak today. So like anything that you're feeling that day, that's what I search. So if I wake up feeling like upset about something, then I will search like like I will search that on YouTube with like a speaker or something, or like personal development around negative people, or how to deal with negative people, or how to help people, or you know what I mean? Like whatever you want to learn more about that day, like whatever you're feeling, you just have to kind of go from it from that, and it really helps. Is there any more questions? Hopefully those tips helped you guys. I feel like I rambled for a long time, and I talked more about myself than I should have, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully it helped you guys. I just think that if you guys are kind of in that place where I was at, where you're feeling like you need to take that next step to leadership, you need to do like a lot of like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And you're not just going to get it. You're not just going to come to you one day where you're just going to be like, oh, I'm a leader today. You know what I mean? Like, you have to actually like take the steps in order to believe in yourself, and like getting rid of like all that like toxic stuff in your brain that like holds you back. I don't know if you guys have things like, but like when we grow up, so many things are like distilled into our minds. Like, you can't do that. You're not good enough. That's a joke. Like, even to this day, I have friends and family and stuff who like look at me and what I do as a business as a joke, or they laugh about it, or they make fun of me, or they think, oh, Flex Friday, hey, and they say stupid comments like that. And it's just like, you don't even know. You know what I mean? So like, I think that you just really have to work through that stuff so that you're like super prepared to deal with it, because being on social media and putting ourselves out there and being a leader on social media, you're going to get backlash and you're going to get awesomeness too. It just totally depends on how you deal with it, which is going to move you forward or not. If you let that stuff like bring you down, then you're not going to move forward. But if you let it like just be like, whatever, I'm going to prove you wrong, that's what's going to empower you. And that's how I've changed my mindset. So for all of those people who have like doubted me in the past, or told me that what I'm doing is not legit, or it's a pyramid scheme, or myself telling myself I can't be a leader, I've just said, I'm going to prove you all wrong. You know, my old self, I'm going to prove wrong. My new self believes in myself, but like my old self, I'm going to prove wrong. Right. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll just stop talking and I'll wait if there's any more questions. And then I'll let you guys go. I think that was about half hour, right? Okay. Well, if no questions are coming in, I am going to let you guys go, because that was about half an hour, and I think that's a good time. My mouth is dry. I need a drink and some lunch. So have a great day, guys. Hopefully that helped somehow, and I hope you have fantastic rest of your week. And just remember, you are capable, and obviously your coach believed in you, or you wouldn't be here today. So it's just your turn to believe in you now, right? So have a great day, guys.